About the death of cartoons, and I don't know why Attack on Titan is considered a cartoon, but cartoons is basically Western animation. And today talk about the death of Western animation or cartoons. Despite despite on the death of Western animation, there have been some good shows or probably that a lot of people like that have came out or movies in terms of animated movies. Yeah, the new Puss in Boots movie, yeah, Bluey. That show is pretty popular even among older people, because of its great messages and not woke and it's not woke at all. But I think there are several things that killed modern cartoons. We'll be going over all of them. All three things that killed modern cartoons. Actually, I think there's more than three reasons. Number one is wokeness. A lot of new cartoons are pretty woke. They try to push some agenda and try to push some agenda down people's throats. We'll get the recent flop of Strange World and Velma, the newest HBO cartoon. Both of these products failed. Nobody bought Strange World in theaters or any tickets. The movie sold way worse than Puss in Boots: The Last Wrist. Lightyear bombed, as we all know. Velma bombed, as we all know. No. And is absolutely hated by everyone. And many cartoons are not really talked about by people anymore. Besides Bluey and this Quids here. But yeah, number one is wokeness. Wokeness killed cartoons. Number two, anime. Anime is way more popular now than cartoons. And those little kids are still gonna watch Paw Patrol and whatever they want, but most people are going to be watching anime instead. This is most entirely Western animation's fault. Anime was always popular for Dragon Ball, but anime is more talked about among people in America and other countries in Europe, and of course Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, because modern cartoons have been failing. Anime fandoms are bigger than most modern cartoon fandoms. For example, compare the Owl House cartoon versus Chainsaw Man, or Jujutsu Kaisen, or My Hero Academia, or Demon Slayer, and the list goes on. Owl House is nowhere near as popular as any of those. And yeah. Same thing if you compare, any modern cartoon that isn't Paw Patrol, which is made for little kids in mind, or whatever this is too, PG Masks. But most people don't really talk about new cartoons outside of Bluey. Most people don't talk about them. I remember the days when I got to go home. When I came home, I get to watch Powerpuff Girls. I got to watch Johnny Bravo, Scooby Doo, Tom and Jerry, all the classic cartoons. Dexter's Laboratory. Those are the ones I really watched. There was also other classic cartoons like Samurai Jack, Ed, Ed, Eddie, the Grim Tales. I think that was called. And of course, another one of the favorites, the one about the foster home for imaginary friends. That one. All of those cartoons were great. They had great messages, great characters, great storylines throughout each episode, but most of the magic throughout those series are lost. They try to bring back Powerpuff Girls, and yeah, we're getting to the third one. Most cartoons, instead of focusing on good characters, writing, and story, focus on what's trendy. Twerking and the Powerpuff Girls, flossing and many of the newer cartoons, and in the Sonic movie, which was honestly kind of cringe. I still like the Sonic movie, but really, Fortnite references, trying to appeal towards TikTok audiences now. It just seems that cartoons don't want to tell good stories anymore. That's why Puss in Boots: The Last List, everybody likes it. There's no forced humor in the movie. There is no TikTok references. Uh there's no twerking, no TikTok dances, and there's no references to anything that's super popular. It tries to be its own thing without trying to shove popular things down people's throats. Same thing at the second Sonic movie. They didn't put any flosses in the Sonic movie too, or any. They had as well. They didn't have that dancing scene, but other than that, the second Sonic movie they tried to get rid of all the cringe possible out of the second movie. And of course, the second movie made more money than the first movie. If you look at anime, let's go back to anime. Anime does not have no TikTok dances. Anime has no cringe flosses or Fortnite references, even though they keep putting anime into Fortnite. There's a reason why they keep putting anime into Fortnite over modern day cartoons outside of Rick and Morty. It's because nobody watches modern cartoons outside of Paw Patrol, which most little kids watch. Modern cartoons are not worth putting into games like Fortnite. The developer of Fortnite, Epic Games, knows that people would rather play as Deku from My Hero Academia than SpongeBob, despite SpongeBob being one of the most recognizable characters of all time. Because SpongeBob fell into the same trap that many modern day cartoons have. All they care about is what's trendy, what's popular, and of course SpongeBob compared to something like the Powerpuff Girls reboot, SpongeBob has been around since a while. SpongeBob has been around since basically the early 2000s. But stuff like the Owl House and, many modern Disney stuff, they keep trying to shove agendas down people's throats. Or most cartoons keep trying to appeal towards TikTok audience and earlier Vine audience. Yes, they keep trying to say, hey, you know what's trendy? Let's put that in our cartoons. And also wokeness, I think, is also killing modern cartoons. There's a reason why stuff like Right Yell and Strange World and Velma are bombing, basically, because all those shows are failures. Both of those movies, Right Yell is a failure, and of course, Velma is a failure, and of course, Strange World is a failure. All of those are failures, and most modern cartoons are not talked about. They essentially have been replaced with anime. Even though anime is much more hardcore than most modern day cartoons, I think the reason why anime is more popular than cartoons is simply because, especially young boys and young men and teenagers, are going to want to watch stuff that is more intense. Okay, stuff like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack were pretty intense for cartoons, but anime is way more intense and has way better characters than any modern cartoons. Most modern cartoons will go to the forefront, appeal towards young kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes shows that appeal towards young kids, you, can do pretty well among older audiences. But older audiences want to say it's just a kid's show and not like it. There's a reason why anime has become so popular. Anime can appeal towards both teenagers, which sort of jump as a target demographic, but there's lots of older people who watch these and enjoy these shows. And lots of younger people are now watching these shows instead. For example, there's videos of kids watching One Piece, Dragon Ball, Naruto, My Hero Academia. There was even one where someone's making a 4-year-old watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It clearly shows that parents and kids in general would rather watch anime than cartoons. And I think if cartoons don't change, well, you're going to see that trend continue into this decade. You're still going to have stuff like Puss in Boots come out, stuff like Bluey become popular, but modern day cartoons are basically dead. And Hollywood killed modern day cartoons. There's a reason why modern day cartoons are not too popular. And I think the ones you can blame is Cartoon Network and, of course, Disney. Disney used to make cartoons that were pretty popular, but Disney has shoved wokeness into every cartoon they put out, and agendas into every cartoon they put out, which makes a lot of parents does pull out from Disney altogether. Which is further proved by Right Yo and Strange World's flops. And when you look up cartoons, the ones that and let's not forget the most number 5, YouTube. Yep, YouTube, it might be another reason why cartoons are dead. Most people who look up cartoons are just gonna go on YouTube Kids and watch Paw Patrol or stuff like Bad Guy Broke into School Police cartoons, Self Salvador cartoons for kids, maybe bust. Which means they're not gonna be able to watch these stuff like on TV and stuff on streaming. They're just gonna be watching this stuff on YouTube because many parents are too lazy and use their tablet as a babysitter, which is kind of sad. But most modern cartoons and animated movies are just not good. And that's number 6. Most modern cartoons and animated movies are not good. Yes, you have good animated movies that come out, but most of them are not good. Most of them are pretty bad. Bad. Now, you have Strange World, you have all those examples are made by Disney Pixar, which is ironic because Pixar is considered the greatest animated studio of all time, but you have Turning Red, Right Yo, Strange World. Last year had a pretty bad amount of animated movies, where people could only put like 3 or 4 actually good animated movies. This year I think was much better for animated movies. You have the new Pinocchio movie, Puss in Boots, Minions: The Rise of Gru, and The Bad Guys as the main animated movies. Those are the main ones that people will like. But most of the animated movies, even this year, didn't really do too well either. And it's not because people don't like animated movies. It's because most of the movies that are coming out are garbage. Okay? Who wants to watch Paws of Fury? Who wants to watch DC League Super Pets? Nobody. Okay? Who wants to watch Strange World, Right Yo, and Turning Red? Nobody. Except for the critics who, are attracted to a 13-year-old girl. Which is honestly kind of disturbing. But again, you can say that same thing about the anime community too. But and then we have the most recent example of failed cartoons. Velma. Of course, Velma. Velma is a TV series that literally nobody likes. It has a 1.3 on IMDb. Everybody is mocking it and hating it. Similar to the Powerpuff Girls reboot that came out. And Thundercats War as well. It just seems that modern cartoons, they just can't learn the lesson. They just can't learn the lesson why nobody watches cartoons anymore. Outside of little kids watching those stuff like Paw Patrol on YouTube. There's a reason why nobody watches cartoons anymore. Stuff like Velma and Strange World. Further prove why. Outside of that, there are still underrated gems that deserve to be watched. But I didn't watch any of them. But there are probably people who do still watch cartoons, and we'll talk about underrated gems, stuff like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, as well. Despite modern day cartoons and Western animation mostly being a massive dark spot, stuff like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish shows us there's hope for the future. And more people either buy the movie on theaters or buy the movie on Blu-ray, or subscribe to Peacock to watch the movie when that movie eventually comes out on Peacock, or buy the movie digitally. You'll definitely be giving people the message, the studios the message, that we want more stuff that has no agenda, no foul play, no wokeness in cartoons. Because this is basically a war for our future generations. I know Velma is not going to be watched by little kids, but little kid is probably going to go, if the parent has HBO Max and binge watches Scooby-Doo and sees this new show called Velma and they, oh look, a new Scooby-Doo show, they're going to be traumatized by it. Same thing of Disney Plus and Strange World, Turning Red, and Right Yo. There are probably kids who love all 3 of those movies. But as the more we make these bad cartoons flop and bad movies, animated movies flop, the more they're going to learn from their lessons and not make those again. The most powerful thing we can do to these companies is hold them by the wallet. And I think that's what's finally happening. Stuff like Velma bombing, Strange World bombing, and stuff like Puss in Boots doing really well in the theaters. and stuff like Bluey doing really well also being infected by the same people who wrote My Hero Academia. Yeah, those types of people. Yeah, now My Hero Academia is ending, sort of moving on to Blu-ray to ruin that, which is pretty sad because most people say it's an amazing cartoon that both kids and parents can enjoy. Goodbye.